Hey guys, welcome back to Through the Screen. I'm Charlotte.
I'm Erika.
I'm Emily.
We hope you've been enjoying our episodes so far and liking, commenting, and sharing with your friends. If you've missed any of them, head on over to our channel and watch. And if you're not already, be sure to subscribe while you're there. This week we will be having an overall discussion of this week's current events. So we hope you'll follow us once again as we join together via Skype to bring conversations through the screen.
This episode, we will be discussing some of the most important topics in the world this past week. We will also be bringing you a heartwarming story about two unlikely animal friends that both have heartbreaking pasts, and finally discussing the Season 7 premiere of Pretty Little Liars. First up, what's new and newsworthy.
In the past week, we've come across so many different articles about things going on in the world today. Whether it's concerning animals or humans, it was difficult for us to pick only one topic without considering all the others as well. So instead of just doing one big topic this week, we thought we would briefly discuss some of this week's biggest news and our thoughts on each.
So the first thing that we kind of wanted to talk about was the fact that Finding Dory was recently released, and it's something that a lot of people are talking about, whether they've seen it or are planning to see it. A lot of people are discussing it. And so we just kind of wanted to talk about the anti-captivity message of Finding Dory, which we really support. So basically the plot of the movie revolves around escaping to the ocean, and its setting is a marine life institute where rescued animals are kept. And basically throughout the movie, Dory is trying to convince them that being in the ocean is much better than being in captivity, giving them confidence that they will be able to survive there. And the movie takes small yet brilliant digs at SeaWorld. In one instance, a whale shark named Destiny expresses her concern about not being able to swim properly because she spends most of her time hitting her head against tank walls. And in response to this, a beluga whale named Bailey reminds Destiny that there are no walls in the ocean, in a short yet powerful moment. So a lot of activists have really encouraged children to watch this movie for its anti-captivity message, but they also urge parents not to buy children their own Dory fish. The sale of clownfish increased 40% after Finding Nemo, and over 1 million have been taken from reefs for home aquariums each year, making them very close to becoming endangered. Blue tangs, which is Dory's, what Dory is, on the other hand, cannot be bred in captivity and therefore must be taken from the ocean. Taking these fish from their homes may prove a danger to their environment due to overfishing. So activists overall say watch the film, but don't buy a blue tang.
And as we discussed last week, the Yulin Dog Meat Festival began in China to welcome the summer solstice. While no concrete numbers have been released as to how many dogs and cats have been killed, we've been seeing a lot of protest against the festival, and one group in particular has been working to stop it once and for all. The Animal Hope and Wellness Foundation, according to the activist Mark Ching, has shut down 5 slaughterhouses in China, saving as many as 1,000 lives, and are planning to continue. The organization has also released a very important PSA called the Compassion Project, featuring many well-known celebrities calling on an end to the Yulin Dog Meat Festival, which we will link down below.
In sad news this past week, we learned that a beautiful jaguar named Juma, who was used as a mascot for various public events in Brazil, was shot and killed at an Olympic torch ceremony on June 20th. Juma was collared and chained while athletes posed for photos alongside him. After the opening ceremony, Juma was being led back to his cage when he managed to escape. Amazon military command attempted to approach him with a tranquilizer, but after reporting that Juma moved towards them, they opened fire, killing the Jaguar immediately. His death was widely criticized, mainly due to how he was forced to live as a spectacle rather than a living creature. Similar to the stories of Harambe, we can't blame animals that we have forced to live in captivity for acting on their own instincts. Jaguars are considered a protected species in Brazil. His death is being investigated for potential charges against his handlers.
And also in ocean news, Sea Shepherd recently announced a new documentary called Why Just One, which followed the 2015 Operation Hyro campaign to defend sea turtles in Honduras, Florida, and Costa Rica, asking why only 1 in 1,000 sea turtles survive to reach maturity. The documentary was crowdfunded, reaching its goal in only 24 hours with support from over 40 countries, and features executive producers Richard Dean Anderson and Holly Marie Combs, which we personally were super excited about. It is produced, directed, and edited by Michael Colin, and is set to be released next month, so we will continue to update you on where you can watch it, and of course we will also link the article down below. And also earlier this month, it was announced that a Seaside habitat will open by the end of 2020 to provide a better home for dolphins and whales in captivity. It will be the first of its kind in North America and will allow its creatures to be cared for and protected while also experiencing the ocean. 8 dolphins from the National Aquarium in Baltimore, which closed in 2012, will be moved to this new habitat to live out their lives after having been kept in a small public enclosure since the aquarium closed. Many activists hope this will be the beginning of the end of life in captivity for dolphins and whales, and that sea pens or habitats that are similar will be more possible. Also, in similar news, the Georgia Aquarium, which is the largest aquarium in the Western Hemisphere, recently announced that they will no longer be taking wild beluga whales and dolphins from the wild and placing them in captivity, due to their declining numbers and increased concern for their well-being.
Recently, longtime animal activist Bob Barker spoke up about no longer using live wild animals on the CBS show Zoo, which is set to return for another season this week. The show is based on a novel by James Patterson and focuses around a world where wild animals band together to take back what they consider to be theirs and begin attacking humans. Barker joined PETA in urging CBS and producers to instead use computer-generated animals on the show, as using live animals often leads to abuse and poor living conditions. The show has already been forced to cut ties with Hollywood animal trainer Michael Hackenberger, who worked on Life of Pi when he was charged with animal abuse after footage of him beating a Siberian tiger surfaced online. Activists hope that shows like this can follow the lead of films like The Jungle Book and use alternative technology that doesn't lead to animal abuse. As always, well done, Bob Barker.
And finally, earlier this month, the Obama administration announced a near-total ban on interstate ivory trade. Roughly 35,000 elephants are killed across the African continent each year for their ivory, and the U.S. stands as the largest ivory market in the world, other than China. With the decision, the U.S. hopes to send a strong message about the ivory trade and create hope for elephants around the world. And the U.S. isn't the only country hoping to send a strong message. Last month, Kenya burned 105 tons of elephant tusks and rhino horns in protest of the trade. There is, of course, still much work to be done, but hopefully this is a step in the right direction.
So we hope you guys enjoyed this little news thing that we did. It's a little bit different than our usual topics. And if you're interested in any of the stories that we talked about, be sure to check out all of the links below and read everything for yourself.
This week's heartwarming story is about the friendship of 2 very unlikely animals, a 3,000-pound cow named Wellesley and a 9-year-old pit bull mix named Chance. Sunrise Sanctuary in Ohio rescues abused, neglected, and often unwanted animals. With over 170 animals at this safe haven, many of them have heartbreaking pasts. However, the story of Wellesley and Chance is a unique one. In November 2009, Minnie Mallet, who is the founder of Sunrise Sanctuary, went to a farm on a rescue mission to save a turkey from becoming Thanksgiving dinner. While there, she discovered calves held in veal huts, and after approaching one of them, the young calf gave her small kisses, and she knew she had to save him. She convinced the farmer to let her take the calf home to the sanctuary and named him Wesley. He became a friend to all of the animals at the sanctuary, showing love, emotion, and protection for them. Chance, on the other hand, was 6 weeks old when he was purchased at a flea market. His owner didn't know how to take care for a puppy, so they would lock Chance in a bathroom 24/7, depriving him of any kind of socialization. Luckily, Mindy once again came to the rescue and brought Chance home after getting a call about his story. Wesley and Chance grew up together and formed an inseparable bond. Being taken from their mothers at a very young age, the two found comfort in one another and enjoyed playing all day long. With the history of fighting rings between bulls and pit bulls, nobody expected Wesley and Chance to get along so well. But the two surprised everyone and became a favorite story for the sanctuary to tell their guests. So if you're interested, we will link the article down below, which contains a video about the remarkable story as well as the link where you can donate to Sunrise Sanctuary.
This week we had the season 7 premiere of Pretty Little Liars. This episode was filled with tons of drama, unanswered questions, and of course leaving us freaked out and excited for next week's. What did you guys think of this week's episode?
Well, for me, I feel like the first thing that I kind of think about this season is that it's a whole lot darker than the previous seasons. Especially with the whole Hannah being held hostage and, throwing water on her and electrocuting her and having, why does she need to be in her underwear? And, just like...
That's the thing I said from the episode. I was like, why does Hannah have to be in her underwear?
Yeah.
I don't get that whole aspect.
And why does the person need night vision goggles when they come in the room? I mean, the whole thing is just very strange, and I just think, overall, it's just, even the way it's directed and edited, it's just physically darker, but just in general, the storylines and everything is just very dark. The first scene in the episode that we get is the liars minus Hannah and Allison digging what looks to be a grave. And we hear them say, poor Hannah, and, this could mean so many different things. Obviously, the first thing we think is that they're burying Hannah because she's not in the shot. But, I personally think that maybe, they're saying poor Hannah because it's somebody that Hannah knows, maybe, her mom or Caleb, even, that they're talking about. That's why they're saying poor Hannah. Yeah.
Somebody like Caleb or somebody like that. Yeah.
Not her mom. I love Laura Lee.
I mean, these are just theories.
Or Ashley Marin. I love Ashley Marin.
But,
I will cry.
I'm thinking it could either be that or, maybe Hannah is the one that killed them out of self-defense, and she's not there because she's, coping with it or, dealing with the repercussions. So they're saying poor Hannah as to, how is she dealing with this. So, it could be a lot of different things. I think the fact that Hannah is dead is way too obvious to be what it actually is. But, so there's that, and then there's the whole Dr. Rollins being super creepy throughout the whole episode, and, coming after Arya and Ezra with a knife.
Yeah, I called that last season. I was just like, this dude's just screams sketch.
Yeah.
Just the whole aspect of, jumping into a relationship so fast and then getting married and, everything. I was just like...
When he's in love with Charlotte the whole time. Who's Allison's sister. Very strange.
Actually, no. She's not even Allison's sister. She's Allison's cousin.
That's true. Good point.
Because that is another thing that was revealed in this episode, was that Charlotte was not actually a De Laurentiis. She was a Drake, and that Drake is her mom,
Jessica's twin sister.
Yeah, Jessica's twin sister's name, and that's her maiden name was Drake. So yeah, she has a sister named Mary Drake who was in Radley
multiple times.
Yeah, crazy times. So I guess
She's pretty creepy too. I mean, obviously, Dr. Rollins and her are the perfect evil pair. But and then and then at the end when we see Hannah, being stopped by her car, and like apparently they're gonna have a whole conversation about something. But I mean, it's interesting to me personally. I personally wasn't like as impressed as I thought I was going to be with the premiere. I was kind of expecting a little bit more. The only thing that was like really intense for me was the very beginning when they had that doll with the pull string, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is terrifying." But other than that, I expected a little bit more creepiness, although overall it was pretty creepy. But I'm sure we'll get plenty of that throughout the season.
Yeah, for me, I had a bit more. I was a bit more into it than I thought I was going to be. I didn't really have any expectations for this episode. I try not to with Pretty Little Liars anymore because it seems like when you have expectations, they always get let down with their show because you never get the answers you really want. So I kind of didn't have any this season. So when it premiered, I was really, really excited to just see where they went with the story. And of course, when they always end up in this church. Like, nothing good ever happens in this church.
Or creepy bell tower.
The instant I saw Hannah, I was like, that's not Hannah. I just knew it wasn't Hannah. I was like, that's too easy of a, it's too fast. That's not how Marlene ever works.
Right.
You know what I mean? Her storylines are always kind of, they progress through a season. So that's why I think, like, maybe, especially with the way she set it up in the beginning, I don't really know if this is true or not, but it kind of looks like maybe they're going to go, like, hour by hour within this 24-hour span where they can save Hannah or whatever. I don't really know.
Yeah, that's kind of what they did with this episode, a little bit.
Yeah, but I mean, especially where Hannah escapes, like, I don't know how that's going to play into it now. Does that, like, obviously the guy was, or the girl, whoever, was pissed off. I truly believe that the person who had Hannah was probably Dr. Rollins. Because it seems like Mary was genuinely surprised to see Hannah, like, the way she was. Yeah. Not that she was taken, but the way she was. Maybe they didn't, like, especially with the previews for next week, she says, you've gone too far. Like, maybe he wasn't supposed to, like, torture Hannah.
Yeah, it seems like he's kind of the mastermind. She doesn't seem to be as, like, evil as she's kind of made out to be.
Exactly. I really think that he is, like, the crazy sick person, and I don't really know why.
Right.
To be in love with Charlotte that whole time you're a doctor, you could have helped her get out. So, I mean, I don't really understand how... If he knew her and Riley all those years, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. You're a doctor. You can be like, get her out of here. She doesn't need to be in here. You know what I mean? Like,
unless he just became a doctor or something, which is really creepy. I don't know how how this happened.
I don't understand how it all worked. Oh no, he knew her in the place that Allie put her in, right? Was that it?
Maybe. I honestly don't remember. I lose track.
There's been more insane asylums than there are freaking hotels. Okay, so like True. Seriously. So I mean, I just don't really know about that. I mean, of course we have like a million questions. Like there's so many questions.
Yeah.
Especially with the couples and triangles and everything going on right now because Hannah was taken. So that really affects the whole Caleb, Toby, Spencer dynamic.
But Ezria, though.
Yes, Ezria is like the bright light in all of this. But like, seriously though, it really affects that because you can see that we already knew Caleb still had feelings for Hannah, and in the finale they kissed, and then she got taken. So you really see that Caleb is really going the extra all out to find Hannah because he really loves her.
Yeah.
And then that kind of puts, like, Spencer and Toby back into their kind of, like, spy mode dynamic, which I love. Because I loved that whole scene where, like, they're, like, picking the lock and she's, like, impressive. I was like, yes!
And Spencer's kind of catching on, too. She's kind of seeing that Caleb's really distant.
Yeah, too, exactly. So. She's seeing the distance and everything like that, and obviously she knows it's because of Hannah, like, so.
Yeah.
But I'm really intrigued to see if they're going to keep Hannah out of the circle all season, or if this kind of like save Hannah thing is just a campaign for the first episode. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really know, but it will be interesting to find out, and if and who they're even burying some. They could be They could be digging that grave thinking Hannah is dead, and she's not really dead.
Yeah.
You know,
True.
or something like that. Because no one ever fucking dies on the show. No one ever dies.
That is true.
They always come back in some way, form, whether they're a twin or something. Like, they always come back.
I know. That's why I'm still
Ian.
I'm still
I'm
waiting.
back.
I'm still
And
waiting
Maya.
for Maya to come back. I really am.
I feel like the only one that hasn't come back is Garrett.
And Ian.
And Ian, yeah. But
And Wilden's come back as a corpse.
Wilden's come back as a corpse more than
By
we
the
saw
way,
he's alive.
how do you make masks like that? I don't understand. It like really looks like a person. It's just really, really creepy.
I don't know, but I swear, like, Wilden's come back more. You've seen him more dead than he was alive. Like,
That's true.
It's insane. Like, it's like, will you just stay dead already? I'm dead. And I love that Mona is in the loop on this one.
Yeah.
I always, like, obviously we will never forget that first and second season she's A.
Yeah.
But I really feel like she redeemed herself a lot. And I really like seeing that in the characters. Like, I like seeing a character be looked at a certain way and kind of like the person that's, you know, the outcast, whatever. And she's kind of like really started to make her way into this group. I mean, she's always going to technically be an outcast. But I feel like she really genuinely deserved and cared to try and find Hannah and to find out what the heck actually happened to Charlotte and to just maybe put an end to all of, you know, this madness that's kind of followed them around for the past 10 years, it seems like, in their lives. I don't know.
So I found the episode to be completely creepy. Like, many times I just jumped because it scared me. But I also really liked that in season 7, like how the girl said that, like, it's more dark and it's more just different, like a different vibe. I loved seeing the couples work together with the girls kind of thing. It just seemed like
You mean the boys work together with the girls? Is that what you mean?
yes.
As couples.
I thought that was pretty cool to see because before A was always like, if you tell this person, I'm gonna chop his head off or something. Like, A just didn't like that, but now they're just like, I don't give a damn, and they're like with their girls and they're helping them out, which is absolutely amazing. I really like that. I found it really creepy. I mean, at first we were all like, someone who was watching the show with mentioned that like this Spencer didn't have bangs versus the other one had bangs, so people are playing it just like saying like, oh, does she have a twin too? Like, we don't know how that's going to play out.
She's talking about when she comes to talk to Hannah in her dream.
Yes. And the girls have had many dreams like that. I mean, there was Hannah in the hospital and Spencer in her house when Allie was looking through her things, looking for pills. Arya when she woke up from being sick and Meredith had been drugging her. And
oh, that's right.
Emily in the barn. Mm-hmm. I only know this off the top of my head because I'm rewatching everything. But like,
no, they're all true. They all really did happen. Like, all those times, they all thought it was like Allison coming to them from like almost like the beyond or like something like that, and trying to tell them, you know, how they would find out who killed her. And then as they slowly realized she wasn't dead, they started like thinking back to those times and were like, that was really her. It wasn't like, you know, a dream. So a lot of people are saying, well, it wasn't really a dream with Allison. Maybe it's like this with Spencer. And I also found it really odd that somebody thought Spencer was the one who killed Charlotte. And I kind of thought maybe that might have been Mona. Because it seemed like they both said each other.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like, too. No, what I thought was creepy was when Hannah said, can you stay with me, please? And Spencer says yes, and she start singing Hush Little Baby, and I'm like, why are you doing that? That's what Mona did when she was in Radley. Like, that really creeped me out.
Yeah. So, it's definitely a little creepier vibe this time around. Especially, like, Allie is actually one of my favorite characters since literally the beginning. I have no idea why, because she was so cruel, and I was like, I like her. But I don't know, Allie is one of my favorites, and it heartbreaks me to see her, like, in this safe place, but she's not really safe, and, like, Dr. Rollins is creepy and, like, obviously, like, hurting her and, like, doing things to her when she's unaware, and, like, especially, like, answering, oh, I killed Charlotte, when she's under the influence of whatever he's doing to her.
Yeah.
It's just like, no, I don't think Allie would have done that. And if she did, it's definitely a big plot twist, because she spent the whole summer
I think if she did, it probably has something more to do with Charlotte than it does Allison. I think maybe something snapped maybe in Charlotte, and Allison was just maybe defending herself, you know?
Yeah.
Like, she didn't really mean to do it, but... Because it seems like she has this deep felt remorse. You know what I mean? Like, even Dr. Rollins, like, she's experiencing, you know, severe guilt. So I think maybe if she didn't do it, maybe she saw it and knows who really did do it and is protecting them. You know, there could be any number of scenarios at this point.
Yeah, because, I mean, if she didn't... Because, you know, as soon as she wakes up and Emily asked her if she killed Charlotte, or, like, asked her if she needs to tell her something, the first thing she said is, I'm so sorry, or please forgive me, or something like that. And so if she didn't kill Charlotte, what is she talking about? You know, that's the...
And is she even seeing Emily right now?
Yeah.
Is Emily the person that she's seeing in front of her, or is she seeing Charlotte, or, you know, somebody else? Because she thought she was seeing dead people, but it was really, you know, what's his name, and Mrs. D. I don't remember. Oh, Rollins. It was really those two, like, manipulating her, so I wonder maybe if it's kind of, like, something similar, like, but it's the drugs that are actually now manipulating her rather than creepy masks.
Yeah.
Which was kind of what we thought in the beginning when it started happening last season. We were like, maybe he's, like, putting something in her food, you know, like, something like that. We didn't really
and what drugs are they, too?
Exactly. Because, I mean, he has access to all of them. He's a doctor.
Just like Ren, who we always thought it was.
Yeah, now when does he come into this storyline?
I know, really.
He's dating. They're like together. Him and Melissa, apparently.
We find out that, like, Rollins and Ren went to medical school together or something, and they have this big history.
Isn't Rollins technically British?
Yeah.
There you go, right there. There you go.
There we go. There it is. There's our theory. They're connected somehow.
There's our connection. Ren. We always think Ren's connected to it somehow, even though it's yet to be revealed. So we're like, Ren is in on this somehow, some way, shape, or form.
I also found it, like, super weird that, like, Hannah, like, just missed Caleb by, like, a second when she got out of the place. I was like, no! But then I thought Mary Drake was gonna, like, knock her over, and, like, I remember Charlotte was like, no! Hannah, no! Get out of the road! Like, we were watching.
I'm like, Hannah gets hit again?
I was like, don't you people ever learn? Get out of the road! You're gonna get hit by a car!
Yeah. But her face of terror, I was like, oh my god. So I hope it plays out really well, and Marlene writes it all nicely, and it's a happy ending.
Imagine if Marlene had wrote it that she did hit her with the car, but it was like an accident. She didn't see her, and like she stops and helps her, and like brings her in, and like takes care of her, and then is like psycho like Kathy Bates on her and starts like, you know what I mean, like
kind of like what Mona did with Allie, because Mona saw Allie walking on the side of the road, picked her up, took care of her, and then went all psycho, and, like...
Didn't really go all psycho, she just kind of dropped her off and left her to fend for herself.
And then went all psycho.
So if you guys haven't seen this past week's episode, we will link the Freeform website down below, or find a way to watch it somehow, because it's literally amazing. And join us next week, and we'll be talking about episode 2.
This week, for our Song of the Week, we wanted to review Christina Aguilera's emotional tribute to the victims of the tragedy in Orlando. The song, entitled Change, was released on her website on June 16th, expressing Christina's thoughts for the families and victims. The lyrics are all about learning to love and accept yourself and being proud of who you are, while also calling on a change in how we treat others as humans, and her hopes that one day, as the song states, hate will be lost and love will be found. It is beautiful, emotional, and I think really speaks for us all. So what did you guys think about this week's song?
Well, for me, I really like it. I mean, it's definitely something that I feel needs to be expressed more, and I'm glad that Christina used this opportunity to voice something that really needs to be heard. And I don't know if this was something she was planning on doing before Orlando, or if Orlando inspired it, but I do believe that what she plans to do with the proceeds and how she plans to use this is a great way for, just to admit change, which is the whole meaning of the song, and just someone, like we always talk about how much this world just needs to change. So I of course love it. Plus, I've always been a fan of Christina Aguilera.
So, beautiful song, and it's beautifully written and sung. Definitely Christina has a huge heart, and the fact that she did this is absolutely amazing. I'm a fan of the song, and I do encourage you guys to listen to it, because it's something that you all should hear.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, the lyrics and everything are just beautiful, and I think they explain what everyone is kind of feeling at this time right now. It's not only about, loving and accepting who you are, because, that's always been something that's encouraged, but a lot of it is also, well, I mean, to an extent, but it's also really about, like, changing as a society, and that we really need to do this now more than ever. So, I think it's a really relevant song, and I think the words are beautiful. It's beautifully sung, and I just really love it, and I'm happy that, it was released, and I think it's something that everyone should definitely listen to. So we hope you guys enjoyed this week's song, and if you did, be sure to check out the link below where you can download it for yourself. All proceeds from downloads will go to the National Compassion Fund to benefit the victims and families of those killed in Orlando. And of course, if you haven't heard it, we will link the video down below, and we encourage you to watch and download. Be sure to share your thoughts in the comments along with any future song suggestions, and we look forward to hearing from you.
Okay guys, that's your show. We hope you enjoyed this installment of Through the Screen, and if you did, be sure to like down below and also subscribe to our channel. We also appreciate any feedback that you may have. We post new videos every week, and we'd love for you all to join us and tell your friends. Next week, we will be discussing a brand new topic, so you won't want to miss it. Until then, thanks for watching, stay informed, and we'll see you next time. Bye!